John, that warning from the British Maritime Organisation came around 3 o'clock this afternoon, a potential hijack. What we hear now from Lloyd's List is that several heavily armed men, we don't know how many, some reports say 8 or 9, boarded the Asphalt Princess, that's a bitumen carrier, and are forcing the crew to pilot it towards Iranian waters. Now, what I also hear is that the US, UK and Omani Navy and military are involved in some kind of incident, presumably in trying to stop the Iranian Revolutionary Guard from taking this ship to Iran. Now, this could be a very serious incident, but a lot of the details remain unclear. We know that this ship flies under the Panama flag, and we know that it's owned by a Dubai company. We also know that there was a lot of confusion in the Gulf off the UAE earlier this afternoon. 5 or 6 ships were putting out signals which implied that they were not on their normal course. And some reports suggest that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard was spoofing distress calls from those ships. There may be another ship involved in another incident, but that again is not clear at this point. What we do know is that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard have done this before, even though they're denying this incident. You may remember in 2019, the Stena Impero, that was a British ship which they took in retaliation for the British seizing an Iranian ship which was breaking sanctions off Gibraltar. So what we know is that this is leverage that the Iranians use, and this is just the latest in a series of attacks on shipping in the Gulf. Iran denies it, but the Americans and British say they know who attacked an Israeli-owned oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman last week. 2 crew members, one British, one Romanian, were killed.
We're confident that Iran carried out this attack. It follows a pattern of similar attacks by Iran, including past incidents with explosive drones. There is no justification for this attack on a peaceful vessel, on a commercial mission, in international waters.
This was clearly an unacceptable and outrageous attack on commercial shipping. A UK national died. It is absolutely vital that Iran and every other country respects the freedoms of navigation around the world.
Today, the Israeli Prime Minister was visiting military chiefs on his country's northern border. The Israeli Secret Service, Shin Bet, is known to be behind the assassination of several Iranian nuclear scientists. This is a shadow war that Israel is determined to win.
On the subject of the ship and the Iranian issue in general, we are working to harness the world, but we also know how to act alone. Iran already knows the price we charge when someone threatens our security.
Iran's new president, Ebrahim Raisi, endorsed today by the supreme leader, is unlikely to put a stop to the harassment of shipping. It's a form of leverage, even as he also wants a new nuclear deal so sanctions on Iran can be lifted.
We will definitely pursue the lifting of oppressive sanctions, but we will definitely not allow the people's finances and the economy to be affected. We will not link this to the wishes of outsiders.
The supreme leader himself was scornful of the machinations of foreign enemies.
Our enemies' movements against us are mostly propaganda, soft war and media campaigns, more than security and economic ones. They spend huge amounts of money trying to influence our public opinion.
But nuclear negotiations stalled in June. Remaking the deal the Americans pulled out of in 2015 won't be easy, because so many other points of conflict have risen since then. And then there are the internal pressures the new Iranian president faces. On Friday, football fans in Tehran turned a celebration into a protest, chanting "Death to the dictator" and "Clerics get lost." At one point they shouted "Death to the Islamic Republic." A shot was heard and the crowd dashed for safety. In the oil-rich area of Khuzestan, a man shows how filthy is the drinking water. Protests about the drought and poor infrastructure broke out several weeks ago, At least 9 protesters have been killed. Some people are bold enough to film and argue with clerics in the street, like this woman in Western Iran whose video was posted online today. Multiple problems, internal and external, for Iran's new president to fix.